Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Well, I'm here for another Azure standard haul that I wanted to share with you because every time I do another order, I try something new. And actually this is going to be, I'm going to be sharing some things that I purchased in my last two hauls, not just one. And just new things that I'm trying, because every time I place an order, I try to look around and find something that I use on a regular basis that I haven't tried from Azure Standard yet. And the reasons for this is because not only do I highly trust Azure Standard, the more I learn about them, learn about the CEO, what he stands for, and all that, and how they vet everything and always keep checking and making sure everything is still up to the right quality or hasn't sold out to a big corporation. Because if they sell out, if a company that they were dealing with that was more natural and organic sells out to a larger corporation, they stop doing business with them and they look for smaller mom and pop type places to do business with. And I really appreciate that about them. And on top of the fact that there was a lot of things I used to get from Amazon that little by little I've been reducing my dependency on Amazon for that so that I can focus more on a US based business that I trust. So I wanted to share a few of these things with you. So one of those, if you saw this in that video a few weeks back, I mentioned trying their coffee. Now, typically I get my coffee from Costco, which I don't have a beef with Costco, but I really wanted something different. And I'm like, I should see what Azure Standard carries. I mean, I don't mind the Kirkland coffee, or it's organic. I only get the organic brand. And I have some of the other ones that Costco carries, you know, a Rainforest Blend, San Francisco, and they have an organic variety. And they're all good, but I just wanted something different. And again, wanted to support Azure Standard even more so. So I decided I couldn't decide between the two. And I'm like, I'm just going to try them both and then compare them side by side. That's going to be the best way for me to tell. So I made a pot one day of one and a pot the next day of the other. And frankly, even though they do taste slightly different from each other, I like them equally as well. They're great. Just the smell of them. I love the aroma of these coffees. So both are organic. Now this one is a little bit cheaper because it doesn't have the USDA certification, which costs money to get this. This is why anytime you see something that's labeled, you know, certified USDA organic, it's going to be more expensive because of the cost involved getting this certification. And it's a cost that continually has to be renewed. And if you understand the USDA, their standards for organic, they're pretty lame anyway. But I do trust Azure Standard, and this is Azure Market Cornerstone Coffee. And so I still trust that. And I also trust this because Azure Standard is selling it, and this is out of Oregon. They get their coffee, organic coffee beans from Nicaragua, and then they roast it in Oregon, and it's their own company. So both are good. If you're just looking to save a little bit of money, you might want to go with this. I haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go. I may continue to buy both since they both have a slightly different flavor. And we prefer the dark roast, which is what we got. Now, I do still have a lot of organic, it's labeled organic anyway, ramen that I was getting from Amazon. And it's just plain ramen, no spice packets. And I had bought this brand before from Costco, but I didn't like the way they had it packaged. It was really irritating because they didn't, you know, and this is going to depend on the person, but they put like 10 of these little bricks into one package with no way to reseal the package. Not that you can't repackage it yourself. I just really didn't like that. But Azure Standard had these in individual packets, so they carry these two. Now the difference is these actually do come with spice packets, but you can order them just plain with no spice packets. I thought I would try both of these with the spice packets, and while they're fine, I think I just prefer from now on just getting the plain noodles and making my own spices. I find that's what I was doing with the ones I was getting from Amazon. And here's the thing with the ones from Amazon, I think they're most likely they come from China anyway, where these are all made in the US. So that's the other reason I want to switch to that. I'll still work through the other ramen I have. I'm not going to throw it out, but then I'm going to be getting only the Lotus Foods brand that Azure Standard sells. A lot of you might have seen my post about the cranberries, about vacuum sealing cranberries into jars, and they were all the cranberries I got from Azure Standard. However, those are not labeled organic, and they were using the cane sugar, and they're really quite good. But I decided to go ahead and try the organic apple juice infused. So there is, if you want one that you know is at least labeled as organic and isn't using cane sugar, then these are just as good, but they're far more expensive. So just keep that in mind. But I thought I'd try a small bag just to see what I thought. And then I also got, even though I do like dehydrating my own bananas sometimes as a special treat, if you like them chewy, sometimes I like that. But I've always been a fan of banana chips. Now, banana chips are basically fried in coconut oil. That's where they get their crunchiness. But these are all organic. I like them so much, and so do all of the grandbabies. I decided to go ahead and buy the 14-pound box. And so I had a lot of bananas. I was like, oh my gosh. And I vacuum sealed them all into jars and then put the remaining in one big recycled pickle jar, like a big one, to just keep for working through. And yeah, me and the grandbabies love the Azure Standard banana chips. It took a while before they got some back in again. Then the other thing I bought new was the semolina organic spaghetti. And it is a better deal for me to do this than to get the one I was buying before. I typically get it on Vitacost, and it's an organic brand out of Italy. Now I can't think of the name, but it's been my favorite brand for years. But this saves me a little bit more money getting this one. Now I do have videos, by the way, older ones on making your own pasta. And I do have a pasta cutter. I have made my own pasta. It's actually pretty easy to do. But it's one of those things I like having pasta on hand for, oh, I'm going to make this. I want to hurry. I want to make spaghetti tonight. I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't feel like, making the homemade pasta, even though it doesn't take super long. When you're talking about noodles, like, spaghetti and fettuccine, it is just a messier process all the way around, even though it can be fun to do. And then you can color them naturally, like I show in this photo right here, using different things such as tomato powder. I've used moringa powder. What did I use? I think on the ones that look purple, I actually used a little bit of activated charcoal in there to get that color. Just playing around with some different ones. Blue butterfly powder would be another one that would be fun. I haven't tried yet, where you could have it all natural. And beet powder, there's another great one. I think I might have used that once. I don't recall. But yeah, so I'll link to one of those videos down below. The other more recent thing I purchased, though I haven't tried it yet, is the coconut sugar. I feel pretty confident it's going to taste just as good as any of the coconut sugar I bought through organic coconut sugar through Amazon. I was buying Anthony's, and before that there was another brand I was buying I can't even remember the name of. But since I'm trying to switch everything over to Azure Standard, I decided to go ahead and get a bag of that. I still have a lot of coconut sugar in storage, but it is a good one to stock up on because it's a healthier sugar that's high in minerals. I also did buy some more peanuts because Patrick was getting low on his organic peanuts. And so at least the ones here at the house. I know I have a bunch out at our other off-site location, food storage area. But I needed more here at the house. I didn't want to bring them over from the other place. And anyway, yeah, so I got Patrick, I think, a 5-pound bag so he could have some more here. They're organic peanuts. So I get all of my seeds and nuts now from Azure Standard because they carry all of them organic. And, buying by the pound, you can save a lot more money. And I also get all my grains and more of my different baking supplies, spices, and more. Even though I do grow some onions, I just can't grow the volume of onions here that I would like to be able to grow. So I do stock up on dehydrated onions, organic ones. Usually I get the organic ones from Mother Earth Products. I have to say I like those a little better than the Azure Standard ones because they're cut a little bigger. But the Azure Standard ones are good. I'd probably stick with the Mother Earth for me, but I did want to try them because, again, I want to keep giving them keep working with them. And then I did get some more butter, the Rumiano butter, the Rumiano cheese. It's all organic. And so I just buy a big package of that where there's like at least a dozen packages in there of each. I have been trying their essential oils that they carry. And I find them just as good as the Now Foods and the Oracacia and any of those others. In fact, I have an essential oils video coming out soon that you might be interested in. It's kind of an updated video on my thoughts on essential oils and the brands that I like to use. And I've been getting my honey from Azure Standard and love it, especially the orange blossom honey. That is my favorite. And then also they carry organic milk powder. And this is the A2, and they also, which is going to be a little bit more expensive, but it's whole milk. It's not no fat in it nonsense. When I get milk powder, I only get whole milk powder, and it is going to be the best. If anyone has issues or you need to give it to a baby, A2 is going to be the best way to go because it is going to be more easily digestible. Yeah, last time I did buy the seashells. I haven't put those up yet. But I know I'm going to be happy with those. And then I just grabbed a couple of bags. They've got a wild rice blend. I like using their wild rice blend as a stuffing for chicken and turkey because it all started many years ago when some friends that she had celiac disease and we invited them over for a Thanksgiving dinner. And so she said, I do need to make sure everything's gluten-free. I'm like, I can do that. And so I created this wild rice stuffing recipe, so I wasn't using anything with gluten in it, and it became a hit ever since. So whether I have gluten-free people coming over or not, that's what I make. I make the wild rice stuffing, and I do have an old video on that who knows, maybe I'll need to remaster that one too. I need to go look at it, but I'll link to that down below. Because I also have bought the fresh ginger root because I can get the best deal on fresh organic ginger root from Azure Standard. Just bought a whole bunch of it and then I dehydrate it up. And then I can use that in my elderberry syrup, in my teas, and anything I want to cook and bake and add ginger chunks to, little pieces rather than a powder. And I love that. I love having all that ginger on hand. It's great. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you some of the recent purchases. And again, if the shipping concerns you, there's two things you got to consider. One is you need to look and see if there's a drop point near you. That can you can either get, not have to pay any shipping if you can go through a local drop point, or the shipping gets spread out amongst everyone, so you're paying a lot less for shipping than to have it delivered directly to your door. But a lot of people, they'll start putting stuff in their cart and they'll go, wow, the shipping, they get to the next phase. And especially if you're buying 50 pounds of grains or chicken feed or something like that, and you're like, this is really expensive. Well, what you have to do, and this is what I did, I was looking at places where I was buying the same kind of grains and getting free shipping, like Amazon, for instance, and then comparing that with the Azure Standard, then figuring what the shipping for just one bag would be, 150-pound bag on that, and then adding that into the total cost and then dividing it by the pounds, and realized I was still paying less per pound for Azure Standard, even having to pay full price on the shipping to have it shipped here. Some things worked out about the same. Some things ended up being just a little bit more expensive, but it was still worth it to me to get it through Azure Standard, a company I trust, that I can get all this organic great stuff and have it delivered right to my door. So these are all the things you have to figure in. Some people get a little freaked out when they see that total on shipping, but they don't think to do the overall breakdown of cost of what it would cost them to buy the same thing from this place that claims to have free shipping. And then obviously, if you already have a bulk food store that sells similar quality stuff near you, you're probably going to save more money doing that than buying through Azure Standard and having it shipped to you. We don't. We're very remote, and so this is what works best for me. The closest drop point is 60 miles away. I do not have the time, and then you consider the cost of fuel, having to drive in there and pick it up, and having to arrange it at a certain time to be in there to pick it up. If you want to actually get your order, that's not worth it to me. It's far more worth it for me to have it delivered here because my time is worth money too. So all the things you have to figure in when you're considering and you're shopping around for the best price on bulk products that you want to stock your pantries with. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and anything you'd like to share, thoughts, ideas, some of your favorite Azure Standard products, or even some of your favorite places you like to buy grains, nuts, seeds, and whatever else, baking supplies, please share those in comments down below. And don't forget, my Azure Standard link is always in the description box. I'll try to make sure to remember to move that up to the top to make it easy to find. And don't forget to click on more or show more somewhere here, down here below the video screen, to be able to open the description box and find those links. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.